Hey everybody, this is Ever McDonough with Brain Powder Kid, and this video is going to be about podcasts. So if you guys are into podcasts, you can get them on your phone, on your computer, on basically any listening device that has an internet connection. You can get podcasts. Actually, if you don't have an internet connection, like in the old days, I used to download them onto my computer and then hook up my iPod to my computer to get them onto the iPod. But typically today, people listen to podcasts on your cell phone. So that's what I do. I have an iPhone. Makes it really easy. Anyways, let's just jump into it. So I've got a list of podcasts that I listen to, and so I'm just going to go over those. Let me adjust that. Okay. So the first one is Master Nutrition. Master Nutrition with Chris Masterjohn. He's a PhD, Chris Masterjohn. He focuses specifically on long-form podcasts. So his podcasts are typically over an hour long, and they do a very technical breakdown of one specific topic per podcast. So he'll focus just on copper and basically how it influences your body, what is the state of copper in foods, how that can be influenced by soil content, stuff like that. So he's very technical. He does give cliff notes, which is awesome. So if you don't want to listen to the whole thing, he does summarize it pretty well in the beginning or at the end, so you can skip a lot. Actually, let me back up a little bit. For podcasts, I typically listen to my podcasts on 1.5 speed so that I can get through them faster, as well as I also I typically skip the beginning portion or any ads or anything like that, just to condense what time I have for listening to the podcast. So anyways, alright, so the next one is Nourish, Balance, Thrive by Chris Kelly. He also runs a online clinic with lots of testing options, blood tests, urine tests, all those types. But he focuses on athlete performance since he's a mountain biker. He also has a team of that work with him, and he also gives a pretty good, robust technical breakdown, and he has a lot of eyes on his work to criticize, or not criticize, but to be critics of. So he's definitely very thorough in his research. The next podcast is Primal Blueprint Podcast by Mark Sisson. I've spoken about Mark Sisson before. He focuses on the paleo world. So if you're familiar with the paleo diet, Mark Sisson, he has a website called Mark's Daily Apple, and he talks all about that. So if you're interested in that, listen to his podcast. Alright, the next one is Revolution Health with Chris Kresser. I'm starting to see a trend here. Basically, half these guys' names are Chris. So anyways, Chris Kresser, he basically debunks mainstream myths on nutrition, and he also gives practical info on how to prevent or reverse diseases. So he reminds me of Chris Masterjohn, but he also has a clinic. He does testing and other things like that. One-on-one, if you want to sign up for his one-on-ones, he'll help you out if you have a major issue. Next one is Found My Fitness with Dr. Rhonda Patrick. I've mentioned her in the past. She gave me the idea to do broccoli sprouts and the technique to use to maximize the sort of foraphane and some of the other components of broccoli sprouts and why they're good for you. She has a lot of tricks up her sleeves in regards to food and other things like that for nutrition. She focuses on lifespan and general well-being, so look her up. Found My Fitness, Dr. Rhonda Patrick. Ben Greenfield, jack of all trades. He's a ultimate biohacker, and he has also a website. But Ben Greenfield is a great podcast. He's got all kinds of different topics, and he has multiple podcasts he puts out a week. And the last one is Optimal Performance Podcast. It's through a company called Natural Stacks. Natural Stacks is a supplement company that do things right. They're called Natural Stacks. They actually have no proprietary blends. They show every ingredient that they have in their supplements, which is used to be unheard of. Also, they do double-blind, placebo-controlled studies on some of their supplements to gain more credibility on what they put out on the market. So, and they have a podcast that they have on different guests. A lot of these podcasts have on the same guests, so sometimes you listen to it on Master John's podcast, and then the next week the same guy will be interviewing on Primal Blueprints podcast. So you might want to skip that. So that does happen a lot, especially when you have a lot of podcasts based on the same idea of health and well-being and stuff like that. So check those out. Tell me if any of them are good, if you like them, and if you have any suggestions on podcasts for me, let me know. All right. Peace out.